All right. Hi, Michelle. Yes. All right. So is everyone here? Are you with me? Please say yes. All right. Great. Great. All right. Great. Okay. So, all right. We are here to talk about chapter 12 today. Okay. All right. The last time we talked about entrepreneur strategy, right? Entrepreneurs. And this time is talking about, we are going to talk about innovations. So entrepreneurship and innovations, subtopics of strategy management. Okay. I just wanna you to remind us, okay, the main framework of strategy management is reduce cost, increase product differentiations. And then if you achieve this, you have competitive advantage. This is the main framework of strategy management. There are some subtopics like entrepreneurship and innovations in the strategy management. Why? Because these topics, think about that. These concepts help reduce costs, increase product differentiations, especially innovation. Innovation can reduce costs, increase product differentiation at the same time. Okay, that's why people are crazy about innovations. Usually, if you reduce costs, okay, your product differentiation is what? Yeah, reduced. Usually, it moves, together. But innovations, okay, this is a way to reduce costs, increase product differentiation at the same time, simultaneously. That's why people are crazy about innovations. Okay? So innovation is the last topic of our textbook sessions. Okay? In this class, okay, we done the textbook session today with the innovations. Then we can move the simulation, the real setting. Okay? Real setting. So we are gonna transit. Okay? We're gonna transit. Okay? This class. So you wanna focus on simulations until the end, the last of this semester. Okay. All right. So chapter 12, managing innovation and fostering corporate entrepreneurship. We haven't talked about that. All right. Some announcement. Teamwork. Teamwork is always important, okay? Because you are about to transit to the simulations. Okay. The simulations, your teamwork is very important. Okay. Cooperation and communication, please. Okay. Schedule. I just want to make sure, okay, the schedule. This schedule is exactly the same as that on the syllabus. So this time we're going to finish up, okay, chapter 12. And in the next week, we are going to do exam 3 and presentation 3, okay? And at the same time, we're going to start capstone competition around the world, okay? So next week, exam and presentation 3, okay? Your presentation will be very casual conversations, okay? And what you did with the practice rounds and how it worked. And we're going to talk about future strategy, okay? Then we just focus on the next round of simulation again and again and again, okay? Any question, comment about schedule or whatever about this class? If you don't, please say no. Okay, all right, let's move. This is a distribution of your own keys. Average is 7.83 out of 8. Great. And standard deviation is 0.477. I don't have anything to talk about this. Okay? I'm very happy with this. You are great job. You did a great job. Okay, so let's start with one case. Your one case is arranged in your canvas. Please go to canvas. Okay, please go to canvas and take the one case. Okay. When you're done, please say done. Okay, please let me know. Okay, so we can start. You don't need to waste our time. Okay, So I'm going to give you 10 minutes, but when you're done, please let me know. I'm going to give you 10 minutes. I'm going to mute my microphone. All right, many people are done. Come. Thank you. Great. Okay, I think most people is done. So if you need more time, please keep doing this. All right, keep doing this. All right. Okay. So let's talk about that. Okay. Number one, process innovations. Okay. Process innovations. If you need more time, please keep doing this. All right. Keep the test. Keep taking the test. All right. Number one, process innovations are often associated with the low-cost leadership strategy. True or false? Low-cost leadership strategy, process innovation, and low cost. True or false? Yeah, you can type it. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Okay. Process means making a product. This process. Okay. The steps. Okay. This in steps. Okay. You focus on the reduced cost. That means efficiency. All right. You focus on efficiency in your production. That is process innovations. Okay. All right. Number two. Product innovations are commonly associated with a differentiation strategy. True or false? Yes, this is true. Okay. So process innovations reduce cost. Product innovations increase product differentiations. Okay. So we can compare this. Disruptive innovations are those that overturn markets by providing an altogether new approach to meeting customers' need. So disruptive innovations, yes, that's true. This is definition of disruptive innovations. What is the comparable innovations, the type of innovations with disruptive innovations? Sustaining innovations. Sustaining innovations. Okay, so disruptive and sustaining innovations. Disruptive, overturn market, sustaining, not overturn. Okay, not overturn. All right, number four. Radical innovations. Radical innovations versus what? Incremental innovations, right? Radical innovation often involves open-ended experimentation, which can be very time-consuming. Yes, that's true, right? That's true. All right, number five. So we already talked about some types of innovations. Process product, disruptive sustaining, and radical innovations. Okay. So this topic, I already told you, very simple, right? Some terminology, types of innovations, and a couple of more topics, done. Okay? This topic, this chapter is very simple. Number five, strategic renewal and pursuit of new venture opportunities are the two primary aims of corporate entrepreneurship. Yes, that's true. Okay? It's beautiful. Okay? Strategic renewal and new venture opportunities. Yes. Okay? These are corporate entrepreneurship. Number six, business incubators. Okay, so we have some incubators at Berry too, right? So Hackberry or some other stuff like a enterprise something. I don't remember exactly, but we have multiple actually business incubators in Berry. Okay, Berry College. Business incubators are designed to support fledgling entrepreneurial ventures until they can operate as a standalone business. Yes, this is the functionality of business incubator. Okay, so business incubator foster grow up. Okay, business until they can go standalone. Okay. Number seven, Corporate ventures that use real option logic in decision making tend to keep total investment low in order to minimize the downside risk of a project. Yes, this is why we care about real option logic. So real options, okay? We talk about that at the beginning of the semester with my paper. Okay, so real option is, pretty good tool, pretty what's that? Useful tool to invest in, your portfolio. So your option is very simple: small total investment, and see it, collect some information, and you decide the bigger decisions. Okay, that's it. That is your option logic. Okay, so we're done. All right. So any question about keys? Actually, this keys covers, much of this chapter. Okay. If you don't, let's move. Okay. So learning objectives. Okay. The types of innovations, we talked about that. All right. All right. Okay. And corporate innovation process. Okay. Corporate innovation process. We want to a little bit, talk about this in detail. And real option analysis, we talked about that. Everyone knows this, right? With my papers, we talked about several times. And entrepreneurial orientations. Okay? So let's talk about that. Let's just, wrap it up. Okay. All right. So today your class activity is your chit case. Okay. It's a Google. Okay. Very famous case, but it is very interesting. It is very interesting. Okay. So what are you gonna run? What are you gonna run from this case? So I'm gonna create breakout rooms as you usually did it, and then you can meet your team members and just share the answers briefly with these two questions. Then we'll wrap it up. Then we move. Okay. All right. We need 5 rooms, and I'm gonna give you 10 minutes. Okay. 10 minutes. Okay, please go ahead, go to breakout rooms and meet your team members. Okay, in 10 minutes, you can talk about this case. Also, you can talk about some, things if necessary. We can talk about some, internal, things, team things. Please go ahead and go to breakout rooms to meet your team members and talk about the case. Okay, if you share your perspectives on the questions, 2 questions, okay, then we can briefly wrap it up, okay, after your discussions.
You are currently the only person in this conference.
I know it. It should be. All right. Welcome back. All right, great. Welcome back. So everyone is with me, right? Okay, let's talk about that Google. Okay, very famous. And radio business in Google, with Google in the radio business, it's a little bit weird. Okay, so anyone just can, jump into discussions. We can briefly wrap up this case. The first question: why didn't the lessons Google learned in the online market apply to the radio market? Anyone can start.
I guess the customers are different in the online segment than to the radio segment. Let's say for example the demographics of radio is mainly older people or different type of people and customers.
Okay, Google did not learn about the customers. Okay, makes sense. Okay. Any other idea? Number one.
I talked about in mine how when Google entered the online market, like online marketing wasn't as well defined, so there wasn't as much competition. While in the radio market, like the marketing firms already kind of have things like sectioned out, so they have more competition to deal with, and as a result of that, like people weren't as like friendly to just allowing them come in and take over the market.
All right. Actually, Google didn't recognize the difference between radio market and online market. It's a totally different market, right? But actually, they just seem to it's a pretty good market, so let's try. So it's like what's that? It's not like a careful, huh? Probably yes. Okay. Any other? Trey, go ahead.
I don't have anything for number one or anything else.
All right. Any other ideas or suggestions, comments on number one? Okay. All right. So there's no one. All right. So let's talk about that. Number two. Okay. Suggestions. Your suggestions. Your consulting. Radio is increasingly moving to satellite or streaming systems. It's a big opportunity. Is this a new opportunity for Google, or should it steer clear of radio altogether? What do you want to choose? Okay.
I said that Google should stay away from radio altogether, and that this really wasn't a good opportunity. The reason is I did some research and saw that satellite radio, most channels are commercial free. So if any radio stations were to sell airtime to Google, they would and start broadcasting advertisements on satellite radio, then listeners would be less likely to subscribe, since part of the benefit of satellite radio is typically no commercials.
All right. So Trey's point is that, hey, Google, you focus on what you can do. All right. Do your job. Okay. That is the Trey's point. Any other points? Any other comments on this? Probably some of you have different points. So what do you want to suggest? So everyone is agree with the trace point? Okay, all right, okay, yes. It makes sense. Yeah. So mainly the point is that very simple. Hey Google, please focus on what you can do very well. All right, what you can do very well. So it's a totally different market. Okay? So it's not easy to get into the market with the base of the online market. Okay, radio market is totally different. Okay, all right. I respect it. Okay, that's what I'm thinking too. Okay, we can focus on what we can do very well. Okay, why? Because there are many opportunities. There are many opportunities in the market. Okay? If there is a few opportunities, then we can just think about radio market. But for what? There are a lot of opportunities in the online markets. Then Google can do it. Okay? All right. So, any other comments on this case? I want to wrap it up. Okay. Okay. Think about that. This case. Okay? Very simple case. Very simple case. Okay? A failure getting into the market. Okay. But in this simple case, we can think about core competencies. Okay, the concept of core competencies. We talked about that, right? Core competencies. The best thing, the thing you can do very well. Okay, so Google's core competency is online market. So just focus on it. Okay, so we can talk about core competencies. Dynamic capability. Dynamic capability. Environments are changing. The organizations are changing, so you should be consistent with these changes. Okay? So radio is changing, okay? And some markets are changing, online markets are changing, and Google should be consistent with this change, harmonize with this change. Okay? So this is the concept of dynamic capabilities. Okay? Dynamic capability. And also real option approach. Why Google just make a big investment in the first step? Okay? You don't need to. The first step, you can make total investment in the radio market. You can invest in a small investment and see how it works. If it doesn't work, you just discard the market. If it works, you can make more investment. This is a real option approach. So why just one-time decision making? I don't like it. Okay? So think about that. Very simple case, very simple case, but there are many. Okay, some concepts, very important concepts. Okay, we have discussed during this math strategy management. Okay? All right. So, any question, comments on this case? If you say no, I'm gonna move. Okay. All right, let's move. So, innovation. We knows it, right? Innovations. Okay. And product types of innovations. Product innovation, process innovation. Product innovations is about effectiveness, product differentiation. And process innovation is about efficiency, reduce cost. Okay, we talked about that. And radical innovation and incremental innovations. Okay, radical innovation, a major departure from existing practice. Okay, incremental, just little bit enhance existing practice. Okay. So radical and incremental. Radical, big change. Incremental, small change. All right, sustaining innovations and disruptive innovations. Sustaining extend sales in an existing market, existing things, and disruptive innovations over to markets with a new approach. Okay, so sustaining and disruptive. All right, and seed versus weeds. Okay, so managing innovation. We've done the types of innovations. How do we manage innovations? Innovation is a very slippery concept. Okay? So seed versus with, which project should we pursue? Okay. Seed versus with, and experience versus initiative. Okay, who should lead an innovation project? Okay, you should decide this. Okay? There's no one answer. There's no one best answer. It depends. It depends. Okay, on your strategy. All right, then staffing. So for innovations, internal or external staffing? Yeah, or building capabilities or versus collaborating. So internal, external. Okay, make or buy questions. Internally innovative, externally innovative. Okay? Each one has its benefit and cost. Okay? Each one has its benefit and cost. For example, internal innovations. Okay, you can make it. Okay? You can make it. When you make it, you can control many things. Okay? But if you have external staffing or collaborating, then innovation can be not controlled by you. Okay? Not controlled by you. All right, so it's a big difference. Okay? And incremental versus preemptive launch, innovation dilemmas. Okay? So incremental launch is less risky, but requires fewer resources. Okay? All right, so incremental launch is good, but large-scale launch requires more resources. So we need to balance this. Okay? That's why we talk about real option approach. Okay? Balance, risk, and benefits. Okay. All right, then cultivating innovation skills, discovery, and creative intelligence. Okay? So creative intelligence, this is terminology, allows individuals to develop more creative, higher potential innovations by means of something like this. Okay? All right, let's move. And defining the scope of innovations, strategy in the look. Okay? Focus on common technology or focus on market themes. Okay? There are many questions you need to ask about innovations. You need to define it. Okay? You need to define the scope of innovations. The scope of innovation is very important, for example, in the pharmaceutical industry. Okay? If you don't have specific, very detailed scope of innovations, probably you have a great chance to get lost in the development process, okay? The field, okay? Because it's too complicated. Okay? So scope of innovation is very important too. All right, pace of innovations, incremental or radical, it depends. Okay? So pace innovations, okay? Incremental or innovations. But usually it is recommended if you can do it, you complete your innovation as soon as possible. Then you can wait. Okay? All right. Time pacing allows for control of the innovation process. All right, then collaborating with innovation partners. Okay? This is, we talk about some, strategic moves like a straight alliances, joint ventures, license, something like that. Okay, collaborating with innovation process, our partners are very important because you cannot do innovations, okay, by yourself. Okay? By yourself. These days, innovation requires a lot of technology. Okay? So the technological environments are changing. Okay? So nobody can do innovations by itself. Okay? That's why, corporations, we should collaborate. Okay? Even unsuccessful innovation efforts be a fruit. Okay? I talked about that. All right, I talked about that. The number of ideas you raise, you give in your organizations. Only 1% of ideas will be accepted or commercialized. Okay? So 99% of ideas discarded. Okay? About this, unsuccessful ideas. So still valuable, okay? So these still valuable ideas can be re-evaluated in the future, okay? All right, am I too fast? How do you think about that? Am I too fast? Okay, so keep going. All right, so we have, experience curve, the learning curve in this class. So I don't think it's too fast, okay? So corporate entrepreneurship, pursue new venture opportunities and strategy renewal. Okay, we talked about that in the one case, okay? All right. And focused approach to corporate entrepreneurship creates an autonomous corporate venturing work group separate from the rest of the firm. Okay? So there are some types of corporate entrepreneurship, new venture groups, business incubators. Business incubators, we talked about that, foster small businesses within the corporation, and new venture groups are just your groups. Okay? Your groups. You startups and corporations. So we have great example of Hackberry, okay? And Berry Enterprises. Okay? Better Enterprises. Right. Yeah, I remember that. Better Enterprises provide some fundamentals for business, and some startups actually are doing this business based on this facilities, fundamentals base. Okay. All right, so those are new venture groups and business incubators. We have a great example. New venture groups are semi-autonomous units with an informal structure. Yes, you can read it. And business incubators have new business. Okay. All right, strategic reasons for undertaking a corporate venture is a strengthening competitive position, entering in a new market, expanding something like that. Okay. But simply speaking, why do you care about corporate entrepreneurship? Why do you care about new ventures within the corporations? Why do you care about business incubator? Why do you care about strategy renewals? It's very simple. I want to have reduced cost, increased product differentiations. Okay? Then I have a competitive advantage. That's why we are taking care of strategic corporate entrepreneurship, okay? And innovations. Okay? All right. Then exit champions have avoid costly defeats by questioning the viability of new venture projects. So it asks a lot. Okay? And reducing ambiguity by gathering hard data. Okay. All right. Then exit champions, savings a corporation's finance and reputation, and risking loss of status while opposing popular projects. Okay? So exit champion is one way okay, to measure performance. Okay? And real options, an investment tool has managed uncertainty associated with launching new ventures. We talked about a lot, so that's it. Okay? That's it. And entrepreneur orientations. Strategy making practice used to identify, launch new ventures, unique frame of mind, something like that. A perspective toward entrepreneurship. Okay? The entrepreneur orientation has 5 dimensions: autonomy, innovativeness, proactiveness, competitive aggressiveness, risk-taking. I don't think you need to remember this, but you have a good sense about these dimensions. Okay? So how entrepreneurs actually have the some dimensions. Okay? All right. So you can read okay, by yourself, and that's it. Okay. This is pretty much about the chapter 12, the last chapter. So at this point, any question, comment?
Dr. Kang,
Yes, please.
will you be able to post the chapter 8 and 12 slides?
Yes. So I'm going to upload. Okay? I'm going to upload the slides. Okay, tonight. If I remember it. Okay. All right. Any other question, comment? All right. Great job. Great job. Okay. So actually, you did a great job. I just did all the chapters, okay? And your motivations and your discussions and your participations are perfect. I love it. I love it. Okay. So that means most of you will graduate. Okay. All right. So I love your participations so far. So I really enjoy this class. Okay. So we done textbook sessions. And then we can transit. We can move forward to the simulations, the real setting from now on. Okay. So you focus on the simulations from now on, and you maximize your learning. Okay. Your learning is very important. Okay. Not just textbook. The real setting, as a manager, as a strategist, you should do your own job, okay? Not a student. Strategist. You will be a strategist, okay? So you practice the real setting with your simulations. That's how we do in some next few weeks, okay? All right. Any question, comment? Okay, next week we're gonna do exam and presentation and regular competition round 1. Okay, so next week will be very important week. Please be prepared for your exam in the next week. Okay. All right, so we done. So you are pretty good. I will see you in the next week. You did a great job, guys. Okay? You did a great job, guys. I love your job. Okay, you're free to go.